Jonathan, Jonathan was the kind of person that when you spoke with him, you walked away with a smile on your face. He was kind, good-hearted.
He had radar for the kids who were having a harder time.
He never once got mad at you for being you.
One day, it was during the summer, out of the blue, a friend of his called me and said, you know, I think you need to stay home from work today. I was with Jonathan last night, and he said some things that lead me to believe that he might take his own life. And I was shocked. I said, what? I couldn't even imagine it. So I said, you know what? You err on the side of caution with these things. Let me talk to him about it. And I went up to speak to him about it. And he said, it's not true, and, completely denied it. So I said, okay, I'm staying home today. The next morning, Phil went to work. I was home, and he went in to take a shower. All of a sudden, I heard a thud. I called out. I said, Jonathan, you okay? And I just heard like a muffled, garbled sound, and I knew something was wrong, and I went in, and I found him on the floor. It was a complete, you cannot describe that moment. It was silent. It was a tsunami.
It was a very serious attempt, and it was probably a miracle that he survived it.
From the time, that first time that he tried to take his life, I did not sleep through the night. 5 months of every single night not sleeping and going to check on my son. And I was talking to him in his room, and his last words to me were, oh, good night, Mom, I love you. And I remember going to the bedroom and saying to my husband, I think we turned a page. And I slept through the night. The first night in 5 months. And that was the night he took his life.
Despite all the things we were doing, connecting him up with treatment and doing everything in his apparent progress, I always feared that it would end badly.
I really felt that mother thing where I'll do anything to make my child live. Anything. And I was doing anything, and I would have done anything, and that I could protect him from that. And in the end, I couldn't.
But all those months between the first attempt and his passing, we were doing our own thing quietly. So at that point, we didn't tell anybody. And in a way, by keeping it secret, on the one hand, it was honoring his wishes, but in some way, looking back, we reinforced his shame about having a mental illness. So if he had a heart problem, we wouldn't have kept it a secret. I'm a doctor, but I would talk to friends. Do you know a good place? Do you know somebody who can handle this, who can handle that? We immediately agreed after he passed away that we were not at all hiding the fact that he had taken his own life, and really felt it was high time to say he had a mental illness. I guess in a way, he had a terminal mental illness, no different than someone who had cancer or some other illness, and he succumbed to that illness.
What happened with Jonathan, it just changed, the way I interact with people now, and, you really don't know a person.
This kind of thing shakes you to your core. It's my life before and my life after.
Ultimately, people look to us now. People look to us as resources.
The Roths are, in my mind, inspirations to everybody. It's very, very, very important what they're doing. They're shedding light on something that people across the world are scared of and people across the world are ignoring. And I have that in my own family.
I've had people contact me from Israel. I've had people contact me from various states in the United States. I've had Roshei Yeshiva from prominent yeshivas contact me. I spoke to them in Yiddish.
You start to discover that there are a lot of people in your community whose kids are having a hard time. And you realize they're hiding too. And it's a serious problem. If people are in any way inhibited from getting help, people have to be sensitized. Teachers in schools have to have a sense that this kid is acting a certain way. But we're still at a primitive stage And not just the Jewish community, the entire communities, secular communities as well. But in the Jewish community, I think there's work going on. There are some things out there now, but we still have a long way to go.
Something that you can learn from Jonathan is just treat everybody as, as a special person. And, that's what he did.
There isn't one week that goes by that we do not speak about Jonathan. He was my friend.
I think his legacy will be about what it means to be a good friend, to be a caring person, to look out for the other guy.
I am sure if Jonathan was here, I think that he would probably say, "You're not alone. You're not the only person going through this. There are other people who are just like you, and if you hide it, you'll never get help. Try to get help for yourself, for your own person, because you have a life that's worth living."